Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new chapter of Gundam Build RWBY. And honestly, this is probably going to be the last chapter I'm going to be doing for a long while now. Personally, the reason being is I want to get back into Gundam Seed Soldier. I want to at least finish up the first Seed series before moving on to that of Gundam Seed Soldier Destiny. So yeah, at any rate, hope you guys can understand that. So for a little bit of a recap, the four main teams of RWBY, being that of Team RWBY and Team Juniper, are still in the middle of Beacon's entrance exam to gather the relics and head back to the school. However, little did they know that all of them were being hunted and targeted by that of multiple Grimm, especially a certain, upgraded Nevermore that had 4 wings instead of 2. With then Takashi shows up in the Red Reaper Gundam, showing off the power of one of his newest models that he created, with destroying all of the minor Grimm and even giant Grimm that almost reached the same size as the Red Reaper. The only ones that almost looked like they gave him that of an issue was that of the Ursa Majors, the Deathstalker, and also the upgraded Nevermore. But even so, nothing could stop the former World Gunpla battler. In little did Takashi know that he wasn't in a simulation anymore, that he was actually on the world of Remnant, in the kingdom of Vale, and was actually in the Emerald Forest fighting real Grimm. With then Takashi basically has an internal mental breakdown before then being called by Ozpen and Glinda Goodwitch and Shion Zagan as well. With now, he's about to explain everything that he knows and reason why he's the key of winning the war against Salem. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 3, In a World of Idiots. It's currently late at night at Beacon Academy, with 2 people walking through the halls heading to one of the guest dormitory rooms for that of students from other kingdoms, with the person as the 2 people walking being Glinda Goodwitch and also Takashi as well, with the walk being not quite quiet, to be honest, not that much talkative at all either, with then soon Takashi saying, "I'm guessing you're quite mad at me, aren't you? Since we haven't talked for literally 5 minutes since we left." With then Glinda soon stopping, as she still has her writing crop in her hands, with then soon takes a deep breath, saying, "Personally, yes, I'm angry. But part of me isn't really angry at you. I'm more annoyed at you, but I'm more angry about everything that has basically gone through. All that hard work. I feel like everything that we done basically is meaningless." Saying, "And who says it's meaningless? Just because you haven't been taking that of a proactive approach doesn't really mean that what you've all done is stupid." With then soon Glinda looks at Takashi. Within the silver-haired guy couldn't help but say, "Look, what I said is basically the truth. You can think I'm lying to you, or I'm basically manipulating you like that of Salem, but I'm not. What I said, all of that back at Ozpen's office was the truth. And if you can't accept that, then you already lost. And we all know none of us want that." With then hearing this, Glinda couldn't help but sigh, and she says, "Let's continue walking so we can get you to your dorm room." Saying, "Good enough with me." With then the 2 continue walking, As then Takashi begins to think to himself, saying, was I a little rough with them? Personally, maybe. But if I'm going to be 100% honest, it needed to be said. Because everything that leads up to that, to Atlas's destruction, needed to be said before things went out of hand. About an hour ago, before Leon left Ozpin's office, within him began to explain himself, within saying, look, before I explain, I'm going to have to bring this up right here and now so I can basically deflate any kind of ideas you have for me. And I'm already aware that General Ironwood, possibly that's of Headmaster Leonhardt, and also Headmaster Theodore, are already looking at me. Hell, I'm pretty sure Crow is also watching me through their scrolls or computers at that as well. With then hearing all of this, though those who are keeping an eye on Leon through their monitors and screens as well were either shocked. Ironwood narrows his eyes even more. Theodore basically couldn't help but get even more curious. As for Crow, he basically has a look saying, kids got skills. Only those who actually know us that we keep things in the shadows, even ourselves as well. With then soon Crow removing himself from that of sound only and privating himself, within showing a screen over that of Ozpin's desk, with then soon saying, Theodore, James, you should do it too. It's best if the kid's going to be telling us stuff, we shouldn't be hiding ourselves. With then soon a man with that of tan skin, also having that of a purple slick back hair, and also that of a purple stubble or beard, over as he sits in that of a desk, with the color scheme of the room being that of, dirty gold, with then saying, I agree full-heartedly. So, what about you, General? With then soon the last one being that of General Ironwood, with his white militaristic coat, his black hair graying out to white, and that of the metal plate on the left side of his face, as he continues to narrow his eyes at Takashi, saying, I agree, but I still don't like it. We know nothing about you, saying, that's exactly the reason why I'm explaining things, Jimmy. With then soon, within Crow couldn't help but snicker to himself. Seriously, he calls you Jimmy just the way I do. That's actually kind of funny. With then soon, Ironwood couldn't help but get annoyed, saying, all the more reason on why I already don't like the boy. But I'll give him some courtesy. With then soon, Ozpin couldn't help but also, internally think, this may have been a bad idea. But within soon, Leon looking around, seeing only that of Crow, James, and Theodore, but then saying, what about Leonardo, Headmaster Leonardo? Within Ozpin saying, Leonardo had some important duties at Haven to worry about, especially getting ready for his students for the Vital Festival. It only makes sense. With then soon hearing this, Takashi couldn't help but smile, saying, all the more reason perfectly, saying, good, because honestly, I think it's a good thing that he isn't here. With then soon hearing this, but then Ozpin speaking up saying, why do you say that, Mr. Yuki? With then Takashi basically leaned back while placing his coffee cup on that of Ozpin's desk, with then saying, because Headmaster Leonardo is a spy for Salem. With then hearing that, everybody was completely and utterly caught off guard. With then soon James saying, impossible. Why would you say that? There's no way in hell. With then soon Ozpin raises his hand towards that of James, with then saying, continue. Why should we believe that one of our most trusted allies in the battle against Salem is a traitor and would serve her? With then, soon, Takashi basically scoffs, saying, "Isn't it simple? He's so scared of her. He's terrified of her." With then, he knows nothing about her. He knows that she basically has the ability to control Grimm. She has agents all across the world, and yet none of you know on who they are. Why? The guy has been nothing but a coward all his life. Why change? Why would he not be afraid? Just because he's a powerful huntsman doesn't mean that his nature is so easily to erase. Within hearing this, all of them begin to feel somewhat nervous. With then, soon, Ozpin also began to feel the anxiousness coming from him and also everyone else. Within, soon, Shion speaking up as they say, "It would make a lot of sense." With then everybody looking at the pale white-skinned professor. Within saying, Leonardo has always been a trusted and kind-hearted person. However, that kindness can be overwhelmed and could also lead to his fear. After all, we all know that he has quite the big form of anxiety when things that he feels that he's not capable of handling. In hearing this, all of them begin to realize that Shion's words are quite accurate. With then James saying, all the more reason that we need to figure this out. And all the more reason on why we should believe him, believing that Leo is a traitor. With Takashi not even bothered with Ironwood's glare, continues to speak, saying, obvious reasons again, because he's afraid. Just like you as well, General. With then soon everybody also otherwise shocked, within saying, I am not your afraid. You've always been afraid of Salem. Because of that, you've always been more of a more direct approach to her. Take her down before they have a chance to take us down. You also use that of military might as that of a form of defense, a form of keeping those safe. However, did you forget that you're currently in a time of peace? Sure, you got to deal with the White Fang, but none of the kingdoms are at war with one another. Nobody is wanting bloodshed for another kingdom or trying to take over another kingdom because of a lack of resources and all that other bullshit. It's doing something like you plan on doing possibly before the Vital Festival begins is what's going to lead to a lot of people losing their lives in the future. With then soon Ozpin saying, James, did you plan on coming to Beacon during that of the time before the Vital Festival? With then soon James couldn't help but sigh, saying, yes, I was. I just wanted a way to help defend Beacon during the time of the Vital Festival, in case Salem did something. It was all that I could do for the time being. Who knows what she was planning, so I had to. You wanted to basically show a message saying that you could say, bring it on, Salem. We'll take on anything that you throw at us. Little do you know, she already plans for something like that to happen, given that you're pretty damn predictable, Ironwood. Also, they don't plan on brute forcing this time. They plan on doing things from the shadows, manipulating and keeping you all divided by stoking your fears. And we all know that fear, anger, and all forms of negative emotions is what brings the Grimm, the very thing that Salem has control over. Within hearing this once more, as then everybody's quiet. Before then, soon, the Shade Academy headmaster finally speaks after a while, saying, so, what about you, young lad? How do you know all of this? How do you know so much about us? You say you're from another world, but somebody from another world shouldn't be knowing about all of our history, about what we plan to do, and what's going on. So who truly are you, Takashi Yuki? With then Takashi smirking, saying, finally, somebody asked the wiser question. Thank you, Headmaster Theodore. With then soon saying, well, I had to be a reasonable and more logical one. especially living in the kingdom of vacuo of all things, you know, within saying, exactly, I totally get you, man. With then soon, Takashi basically getting back on track before clearing his throat saying, like I said, I'm from another world, a world completely different from the world of Remnant. In my world, the world of Remnant, or rather, the world that's called RWBY, it's actually a fiction. This world to me is a fictional world. With then hearing all of this, everybody was shocked and surprised. With then soon, Crow saying, fictional? Wait, are you saying that we're basically some kind of story, or saying somewhat like that? You're basically a web series, a series. It doesn't focus on any of you all. It focuses on 4 select girls, and these 4 girls are part of this very school that just opened up to them for this year. The first one is Yang Xiaolong. Within hearing that name, Crow begins to actually have his eyes widening in shock. The second one is Blake Belladonna. With then soon Glinda and Shion also widening their eyes too, but not in that shock, but also wariness. The third, Weiss. With then Ironwood also widen his eyes too, with soon as he soon clenches his metal arm. With then and the last one, the one who's considered to be the protagonist of the world that you're in. Her name is Ruby Rose. With then soon Ozpin couldn't help but narrow his eyes at Takashi. With then soon Crow saying, okay, I call bullshit. How do you know this? How do you even know them? And why are they the main focus? Answer me, kid. But then saying, Crow, sorry. Oh, right. Sorry, Crow. I forgot. You're pretty overprotective over your nieces, which makes a lot of sense. With then soon Crow saying, right. I guess you wouldn't know that. With soon Takashi saying, the reason that they're the main focus is because they're the ones who are going to be involved with a lot of issues that you idiots basically couldn't prevent or either start because you tried to prevent things without realizing the situation beforehand. Let's also bring in the fact that you, Ozpin, began to use them for your schemes, giving them special treatment. The same way that you treated that of Team Stark, of all things, right? With then, soon, hearing this, Crow saying, Oz, is he telling the truth? Saying, I wasn't planning on it. I was basically going to engage that of Team Juniper, Team RWBY, and Team Carton to see if any of them were worthy or basically trustworthy enough to know the truth of the world and what would happen during their second year, believing that we need more agents to help us after, Crow, your team, saying, yeah, I'm aware. After everything, Team Stark is no more. So, of course, makes sense. But they're still just kids. Why wait? Why start now? With Takashi saying, because 2 reasons. The first reason, one, is that RWBY is a silver-eyed warrior. The second reason, he wants to find your fallen maiden as soon as possible before Amber reaches death's door, given that Cinder already attacked her by this time. Am I right? With then, everybody eyes widening and shocked. With then, soon, Glinda saying, you know Amber's attacker? With then saying, you met her too, actually. Well, you had a glimpse of her too, Glinda, about a month ago. That when you first met RWBY. With then, soon, Glinda's eyes widened and shocked. The first time that she actually feels completely and utterly stumped and feels completely overwhelmed with that of guilt, hatred, and also sadness over herself. Within Ozpin saying, her name, Cinder Falls, was it? Saying, huh? Oh, yeah, Cinder Falls. Originally, she was originally she's an orphan from that of Atlas. Actually, she was taken in by that of the by a wealthy woman in her family who owns one of the most prestigious hotels in Atlas, if I recall. I can't remember the name of the hotel though. So she was trained by a huntsman who came to the hotel time after time when missions, and so he saw potential in her, saw that she become something strong and great. However, due to the constant abuse, neglect, and pain that she continued felt by her adopted family and her stepmother, well, you can all guess what happened after that. With then hearing that, soon all of them looked down, with then saying, since then, Salem took interest in the girl and basically wanted to give her the very thing that she wanted most: power. She wanted power to no longer feel that pain of loss, that pain of feeling weak, pathetic, and used constantly, like that of an obedient pet. Little did she know, the power that she gained actually literally made her nothing but a slave. The very thing that she actually was before. Now she's just a slave following the orders of basically the devil herself. But, of course, when you want power, it can leave you blind to what you're going to be turned into. With then soon, everybody looking down. With then saying, if you also want her associates, the people that helped her take down your fall maiden, their names are Emerald. Emerald is basically a street rat kid who basically steals to survive. Cinder found her because she has a unique semblance. She has the ability to create that of hallucinations. She can cause people to see things that are not really there, even manipulate people's emotions because of it too. The second is a guy by the name of Mercury Black. The guy who's the son of a legendary mercenary by the name Black as well. Unfortunately for the guy, he lost his father after killing him, which soon caused him to lose both his semblance and his legs. Currently, now he's using mechanical legs. With then hearing that, everybody's shocked. Within soon, Takashi brings out his GP base, with soon bringing out a cord that showing that of a USB drive on it, with saying, "You guys got a USB ports by any chance?" With then everybody look at each other. With then soon, Osmond saying, hopefully it works. With soon looking around, Takashi seeing that there is one, saying, good, this could fit. Doing so, saying, it actually does. Well, I'll be damned. With then everybody's shocked and surprised with Takashi's, a little shock. With then soon opening up his GP base, connecting to the internet, and soon looking through that of the RWBY wiki, within showing several images of both Cinder, Emerald, and also Mercury as well. With then saying, these three will be showing up here at Beacon during that of the second semester. With then everybody is shocked. Within soon, Glenda saying, that's impossible. Why would they? How would they? They're not even. With then soon, Crow finally speaking up after a while, saying, Leo, they're going to be Haven students, aren't they? Within soon, Takashi couldn't help but smile, saying, for somebody who's supposed to be goddamn drunk all the time, you're really damn smart. No wonder you're one of my favorite characters, Crow. With then soon, Crow saying, well, I appreciate that. But with all seriousness, you really are telling the truth. Leonardo's a double agent, isn't he? With saying, like I told you, yes, he is. With then everybody looking down. Within soon, Ironwood couldn't help but shake his head, slam his fist on his desk, saying, then if that's the case, then we need to don't do anything stupid, Ironwood. With then completely caught off guard with Takashi screaming, saying, if you act right about now, they'll know they'll basically cause a lot of shit. They'll try to kill the guy before he can give you any information. They'll also rethink their plans before things get crazy. And then you're gonna have to do a lot more other stupid shit to get a handle on them. Is that what you really want? Do you really want to basically continue doing the same shit over and over again instead of acting after hearing the information you're given? Just think about the information you're given. In simpler terms, think before you act. Iron, you damn robot. With then, everybody really caught off guard with after that. But then soon, Ironwood completely is utterly dumbfounded, as it almost sounds like he was being talked down to by somebody that's basically his superior, when in fact, he's basically being talked down to by somebody that's literally still in his late teens. With then soon, Takashi taking a deep breath saying, sorry, it's just, there's some stupid shit that all of you have done that basically caused nearly the end of the world on a multiple occasions. And all of it could have been avoided if you just think before you act. With then soon, Osmond saying, you know so much. Would you care to tell us? Saying, sure. Because if I do, none of you idiots would basically be doing the same thing over. And not only that, it would also cause Team RWBY from doing that of idiotic shit that caused them to basically either destroy themselves or cause them to basically become that of idiotic, hypocritical bastards that destroys an entire kingdom in the future. With then hearing that, soon Crow saying, whoa, hold up, back the fucking truck up, kid. You say that my nieces and their two little teammates destroys an entire kingdom? Which kingdom is that? With then, Takashi couldn't help but basically smile a little bit, saying, with then looking at James for saying, the kingdom of Atlas, because they kept the secret about a certain little aspect about Salem, which led to a certain general to overreact, shut himself up, completely turn into a massless sociopath that kills literally anybody that gets in his way, and was even willing to kill his own people to save only a few. With then soon, everybody is utterly shocked. Even Ironwood saying, I would never. Yes, you would. You would do it and say it's for the greater good. You actually would definitely do it with your stupid ass semblance, Iron. So of course you would actually kill innocent people if it means that you can actually prevent Salem from winning. You definitely would, you dumbass. With then, everybody caught off guard. With then soon, James actually looking down, saying, I am a general. It is my duty. It is your duty to protect your people, to protect your country, not basically kill them all off because you're afraid of what could happen. And not only that, because of your damn actions and because of their damn actions, an entire kingdom was destroyed. Thousands of people have died. And not only that, then he was also about to speak about a certain orange-haired, green-eyed cyborg girl. With then Sue shaking his head saying, you know what? Never mind. Doesn't matter. All I'm going to say is that these certain actions, I'm going to tell you certain things that are going to cause quite a domino effect that would lead to basically Beacon being destroyed, Cinder getting the powers of the Fall Maiden, Team RWBY basically turning into basically sociopaths that believe that they're the ones who are always right while everyone else are fucking wrong, and soon leads to Atlas's destruction. And all of the people soon being sent to Vacuo as fucking refugees. With then everybody caught off guard. With the soon Osmond saying, then explain. Tell us everything that you know. With then soon Takashi, after at least 30 minutes of explaining the entirety of Volume 1 all the way to Volume 8, everybody was caught off guard. The only things that he kept a secret is that Salem is still immortal, and also about Ozpin being Ozma, after all. Keeping that a secret is the best way to do so. With then, soon, Theodore finally speaking up saying, So Salem still gets the relics at the very end, after everything. Saying, yeah, that's exactly the truth. Not only that, it's all because of four fucking idiot girls and a dumbass general that couldn't get along with then soon. James looks down saying, if that's the case, then what we're supposed to do? Then what the hell are we supposed to do? With Thid saying, that's exactly where I come in. With that, everybody's surprised. Within Shion saying, you want to join us. You want to prevent any of this happening, saying, yes I do. With then soon, Takashi saying, during the second semester, Cinder and her lackeys will basically be here to keep an eye on all of the students, while also making their main plan to basically hack into the Elysian military systems when Ironwood brings almost half of his army here as a form of strength towards Salem, as he says this with air quotes at the end. Soon after that, Cinder will basically be able to hack into the Elysian military systems and then hack into the Elysian soldiers, the robots who are supposed to protect the people, which soon will aim at all of the students, civilians, and even the Grimm alike, no matter what. After that, soon you all will try to send Pyrrha to become that of the new fall maiden. Instead, it would call that one opportunity, that one little that little chance of window you all basically leave open. Cinder will kill Amber and soon take her powers once and for all, becoming the new Fall Maiden, giving both Cinder and Salem the chance to take that of the relic of choice. But given that Mr. Ozpin here was able to hide it away even from its normal resting place, then maybe we have nothing to worry about. But even so, many innocent people will lose their lives, even Pyrrha, and a lot of people will be broken because of the fall of Beacon. So I'm going to say this once, and only once. Are you willing to listen to me to prevent thousands of innocent lives and an entire kingdom basically being destroyed over your idiots being secretive and ego stroking as well? With then hearing this, soon Theodore saying, well, to prevent something like that from happening, it only makes sense we should allow the boy to help us. With then soon Crow saying, honestly, I could give a damn. I just want to make sure that my nieces don't cause any more trouble. With then soon Ironwood not saying anything, saying, I still don't trust you. Far from it. If anything, I refuse to trust you, but after everything you said, after everything that I would supposedly do, half of it is basically things I would think of doing, especially if I rely on my semblance all too much as well. But then saying, fine, I will trust you, but not entirely. If anything, I will send one of my operatives to keep an eye on you, and they will basically give me daily reports on your actions. And if I see you basically causing anything that will cause us harm, anything that would also show you that you are working for Salem, and you'll be wishing that you died by that Grimm, saying, ha ha ha, very funny. It's not like you could when I have my Gundams after all. Just try to scratch me in them. With then soon, Ozpin actually opened his eyes saying, also, you talked more about our world, but what about yours, Mr. Yuki? And I do appreciate the information that you have given us about future events. So thank you. Saying, don't mention it. With then soon, as Takashi saying, as for my world, like I said, and this world is fiction and basically a TV series, but in my world, We are basically just what you would see in any other world. We have our issues, we have multiple nations, and instead of 4 nations, we have that of 150 nations, actually, all across the world. I'm from a nation that's one of the leading nations of technological advancements. It's called, my homeland is called Japan. And not only that, that we were able to create that of a new system known as Gunpla, inspired by that of by another TV series that goes by Gundam. Gundams are basically giant robots that have unique abilities. Mostly it depends on that of the pilot. While some basically have the ability to basically destroy and level an entire city or nation, or even something that can destroy a continent as well. Some Gundams even have the ability to change the world itself, even have the ability to connect others by understanding one another. Gundam as a whole was basically trying to understand people from suffering and pain by trying to work with one another, understand each other's feelings and emotions, their dreams and goals as well. That's exactly what also leads to the sport that created from Gundam being Gunpla battles. That's my world. And if you're wondering on how I got here, like I said, I have no idea. I was just testing that of a new simulation for Gunpla battles, and then soon I find out I'm in the world of RWBY, or it shouldn't be real to me at all, but instead it is. And I know it sounds far-fetched and stupid, but I told you basically everything that you would all see as reality as well, and that many of you would do in the future. So yeah, I'm guessing we're both stuck in the boat here. And if I'm stuck here, I refuse to live in a world where I'm basically going to be struggling for the rest of my life without even having it as a career or job path. So, if you could, Professor Ozpin, I would like to be a special type of student here. With then soon, Ozpin saying, what kind of student? A student that only works with only Team RWBY and Team Juniper for the time being. With then soon, Ozpin saying, why them specifically? With then soon, Takashi saying, isn't it obvious? Like I said, they're the main characters. They're the ones that the show mainly focuses on, especially Team RWBY. If I keep an eye on them, hell, if I even change some of their personalities, some of the shit that basically leads up to basically Beacon's destruction, them basically seeing themselves as fucking hypocritical heroes that do nothing but cause people more pain and suffering, and basically cause the destruction of Atlas, I would basically make sure of that more than anything. Isn't that what's more important? Wouldn't you agree? With then hearing that, soon, Ozpin couldn't help but sigh, saying, I guess we can work with that. Saying, cool. Also, I'm going to need a weapon too, and somebody to unlock my aura as well. I'm not going to be standing in this school aura-less, and I'm not going to always constantly have to use my Gundams. Only use them in a certain emergency. Like, for example, something that could cause that of Giant Grim to appear. With Vid suit. Ozpin saying, that is true. Giant Grim have always not been that of normal. They've always been more of a rarity. Most of the Giant Grim are basically Grim that are considered to be old Grim that turn into Titans. But now they become more and more active and even more rare as well. Which could be a Salem thing or not. Who could say? So, you have my Gundams. You have me as your info broker as well to prevent certain things from happening. And you get a secret weapon that Salem doesn't know anything about just yet. So, do we have a deal? With then, soon, Ozpin looking down before then saying, we have a deal. From this day forward, Takashi Yuki, you'll be a first-year student for Beacon Academy. And soon, offering his hand, Takashi takes it, saying, "Welcome aboard, young man," saying, it would be a great honor, sir. After letting go of the handshake, within, Osmond saying, "Glinda, please take him to one of the guest dorm rooms for the students that come here during the Vital Festival." Saying, "Of course, sir." With then saying, "Mr. Yuki, please follow me." With then Suit saying, "All right." With that, both Glinda and Takashi begin to leave Ozpin's office, which all that remains is the headmasters, Crow and Shion. With then soon, Ozpin couldn't help but basically slump back onto his desk, within feeling somewhat overwhelmed, saying, "This is the first time in my whole life I feel completely and utterly powerless." Everything that he says, he said it. Shion saying, "The boy was telling the truth. I can tell. Even from just by looking at him, he said it all with that of true confidence, with no lies whatsoever, except a few things, though." Within sued, Theodore saying, "Like what, for example?" Saying, "He was keeping a secret. Something about a certain someone, though. But it wasn't Salem, though. And it wasn't one of her allies, either. Somebody that was actually against Salem from the very beginning. Ozpin, you have been around for a long, long time. Is there any allies of yours that would stand against Salem?" With then sued, Ozpin realizing he kept me out of it. He kept the original me, Ozma. He didn't want it to end. Not only that, he most likely knows that she's also unkillable, due to her being immortal after all. So, with then saying, "There is somebody, a teacher of mine, before I was cursed. His name was Ozma. He was also Salem's husband." Within, everybody shocked. Within soon, Ironwood saying, "Why didn't you tell us this? If I did, would it change anything? Would it change on how long the woman has been around? Let's just say that Ozma has told me many stories about her. Many things that led to the world and many countries being destroyed. It's the very reason on why we need to stop her, on why we need to prevent her from taking the relics any way necessary. And seeing that everything that Mr. Yuki has said, it's most likely she will get even closer and closer to her goal, to most likely use the relics to destroy the world." With then soon, hearing this, Aunt Crow couldn't help but say, "Still don't like the fact that so much things happened because of my nieces and their team. To be honest, I really think it's stupid, to be fair, that all of this suffering and pain happens because of those girls. And personally, it's kind of my own fault too. If you believe that they were ready, Ozpin, it only makes sense that I would think so as well. I trust you too much to let that go." With then soon, Theodore saying, "Not to mention her little lackeys. Besides bringing up the Cinder Falls, who plans on destroying your school, Ozpin, let's also bring up her other lackeys, such as that of, well, Tyrion, the one-eyed faunus criminal, Arthur Watts, the former Elysian professor, and also Hazel as well." Hearing those names, Theodore still doesn't stop saying, "Let's also bring in the fact that they also have that of the known gentleman thief criminal, Roman Tortwig, and the White Fang on their side too, unaware of their plans, most likely. No, within Crow saying, knowing that guy Roman, he's most likely only siding with them because he'll probably get a payday out of them. After all, RWBY did say that the guy does have has been stealing a lot of dust all across Vale, especially since prices have basically gone up like hell." Within James speaking up saying, "Not to mention the White Fang. He specifically said he specifically said Aaron Taurus, most like the leader of the ones who are most likely in Vale. Adam Taurus has become quite popular for Faunus people, inside the White Fang and outside into many of the kingdoms. He may be a wanted criminal to the world, but he's popular with Faunus all across the world as well. Seeing on what leads to him to becoming somewhat of a martyr and somewhat of the leader of the new White Fang, we need to find some way to help Sienna Khan from a fate such as death after what happens at Beacon. Within hearing that, soon, Osmond saying, I agree all too well. I believe the only way we should do that is to allow Mr. Takashi to help her. By his words and his explanation, it seems he has nothing against Faunus whatsoever. It seems like he actually admires them and cares deeply about them. Possibly that sympathy and understanding will help. Soon, Ironwood also speaks up saying, not to mention that mobile suit. I've seen the video footage that you gave me, Ozpin. If we could replicate something like this, the war against Salem, no, scratch that, against the Grimm as a whole would be non-existent. Humanity would be free from the Grimm threat as a whole. Not only we would be securing our future and safety and we gaining a new weapon as that against the threat, we would also be helping each other. But then Crow speaking up saying, let's also bring in the fact that these Gundams are based off an anime where there's basically nothing but endless war in each and every installment of the series. Yeah, I think not, James. If he wants to give us the technology for him, I think he will give it to us when he's ready. So, how about that? Let's not push the kid with basically 4 giant robots to do whatever the hell to basically attack us after all. With then saying all this, but then soon, Ozpin saying, Shion, what about you, Professor? With then soon, Shion speaking up saying, I trust the young man. I really do. He does have good intentions and wants to help this world. However, besides the things he's keeping secret, we must keep ourselves worried about him. Somebody with that much power. Somebody who's in a world that's not his own. And not only that, I can tell he is a boy who feels that he can't trust anybody unless it's himself. He reminds me quite a bit of you, General Ironwood. But instead of feeling like he can't trust, he has to keep things to himself or feel like he needs to be trusted. He prefers not to trust anyone at all unless he needs to. Then, soon, James couldn't help but scoff, but realized that Shion is telling the truth. Then, soon, Osmond saying, with all that said now, it's possible let's think about his words, and hopefully that our preparations and that his words and advice helps us in the future. I hope that we can all speak again, gentlemen. With that, soon all of the screens soon close. Then soon, Ozpin saying, and I need to speak with Leo. Hopefully, I'll be able to convince him to stop working with Salem. Maybe preventing him from sending both Cinder, Mercury, and Emerald to Beacon. Then saying, hopefully you're right, Headmaster. But then Shion soon leaving Ozpin's office as well. Within, Ozpin looking out of the sky of his office, but then looking back up to the broken moon of Remnant. As for Takashi and Glinda, they finally arrived to that of the guest room dorms, then soon arriving into his room, which had that of 4 beds, saying, so it's even the same here, same as it is in the regular dorms too. 4 beds as always, saying, we normally bring in that of teams after all, so it only makes sense that we would have 4 beds. Saying, cool, I guess I have extra beds in case I want to sleep somewhere different every night. With then sued. Takashi saying, Miss Glinda, is there anyone that can help me have that of a designs for weapons? Saying, of course. What weapon would you want? Saying, oh, you'll see. I'll probably send it to your scroll later on for my GP base. As for my aura, are you going to help me unlock it now, or do I have to wait until tomorrow? With then soon, Glinda can help but sigh, saying, I'll help awaken it for you tomorrow, because tonight it's too late, and after everything that I've heard, I think I need some time to think. Especially on how I'm going to treat those girls. Saying, wait, what do you mean? With then sued. Glinda saying, after everything you said, everything revolves around that of Team RWBY and Team Juniper. It only makes sense that I need to whip those girls into shape, and especially those two young men too. So, because of that, I need to change my lesson plans when it revolves around those 8 after all. With then Takashi's eyes widening in shock, saying, oh boy, did I make their lives a lot more hell or hectic because of this? Huh, maybe that would be good. They really need somebody to be a lot more strict with those dumbass bitches after all. With then soon, she's saying, also, if you're going to be a student, you're going to need to be wearing a uniform. With then saying, oh great. Seriously, I just graduated high school about that of a year ago. With then soon, she can't help but say, well, see this as that of advanced schooling. Saying, you mean college? With soon, Glinda saying, what is college? Within Takashi, eyes widening, saying, you know what? Never mind. I'll explain another time about my world, if you would like. As for if it's pretty late, I need to get some sleep. See you around, Miss Good Witch. After hearing that, with soon, Glinda saying, and good night to you, Mr. Yuki. Have a good night, and I really hope that you have a good time here at Remnant, even after everything that you've told us. With then soon closing the door, Takashi soon goes to one of the beds, puts his GP base on one of the nightstands, before removing his scarf, his jacket, and that of a white t-shirt, and also his black jeans as well, with soon kicking off his red and black sneakers. Within soon, he couldn't help but feel tears running down his face. Within saying, why me? Why is it always me? Why am I always the one to suffer when I haven't done anything to anyone? I've tried so hard to be positive after everything that I've gone through. I tried so hard to endure so much, and now I have to endure being in this twisted ass, selfish piece of shit world. Why? Why me? Then Takashi rolls off on the bed and begins to cry himself to sleep. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, how did you guys like it? Did you guys like this chapter? Honestly, this was more of a way to relieve all of the pent up stupidity and shit that all of the past volumes have done, while still helping out the fucking idiots of the so-called inner circle of RWBY after all. So yeah, Takashi basically released all of his pent up frustrations that he had with the RWBY series, to be honest. And to be fair, it was kind of a long thing coming, because there are a lot of people that kind of hated everything that the past volumes have done in RWBY that could have been avoided so much. But again, Team RWBY feel like they're entitled to so much shit, when in fact they shouldn't be entitled to anything and should try to trust people more. Instead, they don't. And I get it. It's wrong to keep secrets, but sometimes those secrets are fucking important as well. And that's what pisses me off the most. But I digress. I'm not trying to rant even more than I already have in this throughout this chapter. So yeah, any rate, like I said in the beginning of this chapter, I'm going to be putting this series on hold so I can focus back on that of Gundam Seed RWBY, so I can get some more, get through that story at least a little bit more, so I can focus on future stories and also the side plot story I want to do as well. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep update my videos when I upload on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, main channel, and Patreon. Also, check out my Cash App as well, if I put it down in the description below too. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys, and hope you all take care.